Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. The special meeting of the Richmond City Council will now come to order. Mr. Clerk, if you would provide the emergency evacuation plan, or Ms. Clerk, Madam Clerk, and the public speaker guidelines.
Madam President, I will make the interpretation services announcement first. Spanish interpretation is available in the council chamber. Please see a representative at the rear of the room to receive the appropriate equipment. Spanish interpretation is also available through Microsoft Teams for virtual attendees in need of this service.
Disponemos de servicios de interpretación en español en la sala del consejo. Por favor, diríjase al representante para recibir el equipo adecuado en la parte trasera de la sala. La interpretación en español también se está poniendo a disposición a través de Microsoft Teams para los participantes virtuales que necesiten dichos servicios.
Thank you.
Upon activation of the emergency alarm signal, all persons should immediately exit the building. Please use the exits to the left or right front of the council chamber or the east or west stairwell outside the rear doors of the chamber. Do not use elevators or escalators. After exiting the building, proceed down 9th Street and into the assembly area located in the former public safety building parking lot. Able persons should assist visually and hearing impaired visitors with exiting the building. Public speaker guidelines. Individuals wishing to speak during public hearings and the public comment period are generally allowed 3 minutes to speak. Persons appearing before council are not allowed to campaign for public office, promote private business ventures, use language of a personal nature which insults or demeans any person, including comments directed at public officials or staff members that are not related to their official duties, or address or question staff members directly. All questions are to be directed to the president of council. Failure to adhere to these guidelines may result in speakers forfeiting any remaining time, and further disciplinary action is necessary, which could include barring from attendance at future meetings of the city council for a period of 6 months. Members of the public who registered in advance to speak virtually will be called at the appropriate time, either during the public comment period or during the public hearing for which the legislation on which they sign up to address. And Madam President, that concludes the announcement.
Madam Clerk, thank you. Members, I have an electronic participation request. Pursuant to Rule 3D4B of Council's Rules of Procedure, Council Member Sarah Abubaker has made a request to participate in this special meeting via Microsoft Teams from her home due to a medical condition, thereby preventing her physical attendance. The council members present must adopt a motion to approve her participation in this meeting by electronic communication means if it appears to us that the request complies with Rule 3D of Council's Rules of Procedure. At this time, pursuant to the rules, I will solicit a motion for those members physically assembled approving Ms. Abubaker's participation in this meeting by electronic communication means.
So moved.
Second.
Council is now voting on the motion to approve Ms. Abubaker's request to participate in this special meeting through electronic communication means. Mr. Breton,
Aye.
Ms. Gibson,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Aye.
Ms. Robertson, Ms. Trammell,
Aye.
Ms. Vice President Jordan,
Aye.
and President Newbill.
Aye.
That motion has been approved, and Madam President, all members of council are in attendance this evening.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We will
If there are individuals standing in the rear of the chamber, they are asked to be seated where seats are available, and applause is not permitted at any time during this evening's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We are now prepared for the public hearing that was posted and announced, allowing for and looking for possible feedback relative to proposed budget, the proposed budget and the proposed budget amendments that have been published. Yes, and I'm sorry, and we are providing, as we did with the last public hearing, each member 2 minutes for comment. And I will ask that you certainly provide comments very specific to the item that you're wanting to recommend, but that it would not include any commenting relative to staff or administration in those comments, but exactly what it is that you're wanting to convey to council for consideration as amendments, whether in support or in favor. So with that, Madam Clerk, let's proceed.
If there are persons interested in speaking, if you would begin to form an orderly line in the center aisle at this time. All right, Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Uh, Good afternoon or good evening. My name is Thomas Fitzpatrick. I'm the Executive Director of Housing Opportunities Made Equal. I'd much rather be in front of you talking about zoning and land use, as I had the opportunity to do with you at your retreat last year. Unfortunately, my request today is parochial in nature and asking to continue funding home and allowing us to continue to serve RHA voucher holders and residents of the city of Richmond. There are two budget items that we were previously funded for, and this year got zeroed out in the introduced budget. One is to support our housing vouchers in what we do with our mobility program. Once they get that lottery, we help them find apartments. And the second is investigations of housing discrimination taking place here in the city of Richmond. The two go hand in hand. And on a flyer that I had handed out to each of you, and you may have it in front of you, I asked Ms. Morris to hand it out. It explains what we do and why we do this money and how we're able to support Richmond, particularly while we are a statewide agency, organization. We have a particular interest in serving Richmond as we have for the last 50 years. And this funding would allow us to continue to do that. One case in point is a case that we have of a voucher holder, mother of 2 school kids, who was denied housing 7 times illegally because she had that voucher. Because we had those 2 programs specifically funded, we both knew of this allegation, we were able to provide the resources to finally help her find a home and enforce the fair housing law. In fact, there are 4 cases currently pending that we're working on of voucher holders in the city of Richmond who have been discriminated against. And so
30 seconds.
So I humbly ask you if you could continue to fund this program and allow us to continue to serve the city of Richmond. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Good evening. I'm Ed Jewett. I'm clerk of the circuit court, and I'm here to talk today about the proposed amendment to add a salary supplement for my 41 deputy clerks. The circuit court clerk in Richmond is one of only 3 courts in the state that gets no state funding. The state compensation board sets the number of employees, and they also set our salaries, but it's up to the city of Richmond to pay us, and you all are our sole source of support. We have found over the years we are getting left behind by the other jurisdictions. We make $8,000 less as a minimum starting salary as compared to Chesterfield County. The figure we came up with, the $237,000, was based on an analysis between us, Henrico, Chesterfield, Hanover. We're behind all of them. So we tried to find a reasonable figure that would get us into competition with them. In 1 week, I lost 2 employees to Chesterfield. And another week, I lost 1 to the Supreme Court and 1 to a district court because we are not keeping up with the salaries of the other courts in Virginia and especially in our area. We did include this in our budget proposal for the year, but it was not included in the mayor's budget, and that's why I'm here now. Because we cannot do what we do for the whole city if we don't have people to stay and be trained and continue in the important job that we do. And we also turn over approximately $7 million a year in revenue to the city between our real estate recording taxes, our probate taxes, and then the court costs, fines, and fees that we collect. So I'm hoping that you all will look favorably upon this proposal. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Jewett.
Madam President, members of City Council, Charles Willis, Executive Director of United Communities Against Crime. I come to share with you that public safety is a must, and any thoughts of deleting funding from fire, The call center, the ambulance authority, and especially our police department is ludicrous. Any question of cutting, especially when it comes to public safety, in our north, south, east, or west of Richmond, is extremely just unmeasurable. One of the things I found out in Richmond is that we've been proud of, and I will say, I always tell folks that Richmond is the bishop of police chiefs. We have so many police chiefs that are centrally located that came straight out of Richmond because of the public safety that we have provided in Richmond. I want to share with you, even in the 3rd district, where we recently had a homicide of a 15-year-old, there are 2 families that are back and forth. One family, we had to, along with the police department, provide safety for that family to get away from that neighborhood. That family mother called me about an hour ago just to talk about public safety and getting her items out of the house because she's still fearful of her life in the 3rd district. And we talk about public safety in the 1st district, where we had a principal, well-known, that was hit on a bicycle.
30
Of
seconds.
course, no charges, but still a matter of public safety. And it doesn't stop here or there. But when you start talking about cutting the funding, please, council, don't even think about it, especially with our Richmond Police Department. I'm not here to talk about the Trauma Healing Response Network. I'm not even here to talk about United Communities Against Crime. I'm talking about the dignity and the respect of our police department and what they do out in our community to provide safety along with the other agencies. So please keep them funded, fully funded.
Thank you, Mr. Willis.
Good evening, President Newbill and members of council. My name is Joe Brancoli. I'm a citizen of the 1st District. I'm here tonight to speak in favor of an amendment which would remove salary increase for non-union employees with salaries that exceed $150,000. It is frustrating in the extreme in a year when money is especially tight to read that people at that level of salary are contemplated to get, in some cases, extreme increases. It is rewarding in the extreme to see the representatives, you all, asking the tough questions that need to be asked and doing what needs to be done in this tight year, this very tight budget year. And this is not to denigrate the vast majority of city employees who do an excellent job and deserve probably more compensation than they're going to be able to get this year. Thank you for your time and thank you for your work on the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Brancoli.
Good evening. My name is Ann Forrester. I'm a Richmond Public Schools teacher, and I'm also the president of the Richmond Education Association, and I'm speaking on behalf of our union tonight. I just want to thank council members for hearing us last week and putting in the amendments to add additional funding to RPS's budget, as well as the audits for RPS. We understand that members of council may have concerns about RPS's budget management and transparency. We share these concerns, and I know a bunch of REA members, including myself last week, spoke to this at the public comment. The administration has provided us with documentation to clarify the cost of our contracts, and we're happy to share that documentation with members of council. For the future, we too would like more information about how money is being spent in RPS, and we wholeheartedly support the proposed amendments for an audit. We believe that budgets should be transparent, public documents, and we welcome any effort that creates greater access to information for the public. As for the current budget, we want to request that council take into account that this is the final year of our first collective bargained contracts. How the city handles funding these contracts will be precedent setting for not only Richmond, but Virginia too. Will we be a city that supports unions and treats these contracts as a sacred commitment that the city has made to its workers? Or will we be a city that undermines union power and forces its school system to cut programs and resources to find enough money to cover their legal obligations? At a time when hope seems scarce across the country, the legalization of collective bargaining in Virginia and the reemergence of union power in Richmond is a bright spot that allows us to believe that positive change can happen in Richmond, even in a historical moment when regression seems to surround us. It is more important than ever that we lift up and support our unions, because when unions are powerful, the people are powerful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Forrester.
Good evening. My name is Paige L. Wenger. I am a resident of Richmond City, a LEAP teacher with RPS, excuse me, and a member of the REA. Formally, I'm asking that you please pass a combined amendment that gives RPS the funding that is critically needed for our students and our teachers to continue raising the bar in our school system. We cannot lose our momentum. Like anything else, a city is only as strong as its weakest link, and the weakest link cannot become our educational system. Not fully funding RPS does not just affect the here and now. Lost resources become lost intellectual opportunities for our students that are needed to further their education beyond high school and future employment. We should be focusing on new ideas in an effort to close the inequality gap in our city, not making it wider. Students and teachers should not be looked at as expenses, but as investments. Not fully or more fully funding RPS affects the prosperity of our futures. We shouldn't force RPS to choose between our CBA raises and needed resources. I do want to thank you all for this opportunity to speak tonight, as I know it was an unscheduled hearing. And again, please consider passing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Elswinger.
Hey, good evening. My name is Johnny Fuller. I live in the 7th District in Church Hill. Longtime listener, first-time caller. I've been coming here for about 2 years now. This is the first time that I've spoken because I feel like it's really important that you all support Gibson's amendments for both the rental inspection district, that's 2 employees, to enforce the rental inspection district, and to provide $1 million for the Family Crisis Fund. I'm here speaking like for the first time because this is like the most important thing in people's lives, right? Like you don't get to opt into housing. Like we've criminalized being homeless. So it's not really like you have a choice to pay your rent. You have to pay your rent, right? It's kind of messed up that like if you're rich, like we'll subsidize your mortgage, right? And then you can rent it out to somebody and they'll pay your mortgage. And then you can buy more property. It's kind of insane when you think about it. But I'm not here to ask you guys to change that system. I'm here to find a way that that money can go back to helping the people that live there. So when you pay your rent, like you have some obligation to, I don't know, get rid of the mold. My neighbors in Church Hill have mold. I've seen people painting over mold. And I warn people, I say, hey, you know, that's a slumlord. I know you didn't know there's slumlords in Church Hill, but yes, there are. And they say, oh, I have no choice. Where else am I going to go? Right? Like, and they're paying probably more than my mortgage sometimes. I got lucky. I've been here for a while. Right? And that's just wild to me. So we need to do things to make sure that landlords have a responsibility to take care of their buildings. And the rental inspection district is a low-cost way for you all to do that. It's a low cost with a big impact. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Fuller.
Hello, I am Inga Carbell. I am a Richmond Education Association board member, better known as REA. During election time, you spoke to us as if education was written on your hearts when each of you talked about how much money was raised during campaign venues and asked for more. I understand elections are quite expensive. If for any reason your campaign budget was cut prior to winning, would you still have your position? By reasoning of association, I would say the answer is no. My question is, why am I standing here defending RPS while the institution intentionally has a former recruiting assistant director of a college sitting in a corner room just answering phone calls until a decision is made concerning my job? It is my hope it is not because of retaliation. REA is as well as my culture and climate need your help, just like you needed ours when you asked us to vote. You haven't decreased rent. Why would you consider decreasing the ability to pay rent or mortgages? If the funds were needed last year, the funds are needed this year. If you can locate funds for your campaign, you can locate funds for education staff and teachers. If you can locate funds for an amphitheater, you can locate funds for educational building. It's called the Virginia State General Assembly. It was stated last year by City Council, our issues regarding pay increases and building improvements are not with the city, and this is a subject we need to address with RPS. Maybe so, but not allowing
30 seconds.
RPS School Board to meet these requirements forces RPS into a breach of contract. By approval last year's budget, you still understood a portion of those funds alter RPS into this contract with staff and teachers. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Corbell.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bill Lallman. I am a resident of the 5th District. I'm here, I just want to make a quick statement to support 2 budget amendments. One is the funding of 2 code enforcement officers for the rental inspection program. The second is to support the amendment to increase the funding for the Family Crisis Fund for $1 million. I came to Richmond by a job transfer 35 years ago. There's not been one day I've ever regretted that decision. This is a wonderful place to live. Having said that, please consider those 2 amendments and keep in mind what my good friend Johnny Fuller said. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Wallman.
Hi there. My name is Warren Campbell. I'm a resident in the 1st District and a community organizer with New Virginia Majority. I'm here, as I have been for the last 11 months, in support of the Family Crisis Fund. Also want to support those amendments to add the rental inspection program as well. Back in May, after speaking with residents across the city, New Virginia Majority came to council on May 28th to ask for $9 million in the budget for Family Crisis. This is in order to offset the historic eviction crisis in our city. It was the average amount owed multiplied by the amount of evictions in the city in 2023. Including funding with eviction diversion, Family Crisis, and the right to counsel, we are only funding $1.8 million to collectively stop evictions in our city. I've heard this is a priority of ours. How come the budget doesn't show it? Richmond is 2nd in the nation in evictions. I know you're tired of me saying it. I know the people of this city are tired of living it. People who face eviction do not make a lot of money. Our governor has made sure to suppress minimum wage and veto various laws to protect Virginians from eviction. However, I believe that non-union city employees that make over $150,000 are still receiving a 3.25 bonus proposed in this budget. This is $750,000 of our budget that is going towards city employees living quite comfortably. Our own citywide public elected official, who shall remain unnamed, wants a $44,000 salary increase for himself. We must redirect those funds to support the families of this city. Please support the $1 million increase to the Family Crisis Fund.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell.
Hello again, City Council. I'm Casey Miller, a resident and renter in the 7th District. I'm here again to ask that this council invest in the families who call Richmond home by restoring and increasing the Family Crisis Fund in this year's budget. You may recall on March 10th, I spoke not just about policy or percentage, but about a loss. I told you about a friend of mine who passed away. I asked you through this public forum and through follow-up emails to allocate less than 1% of the total city's budget to replenish the Family Crisis Fund. That fund, which was opened up during the water crisis events in January, has been depleted. And yet this budget proposal I'm seeing is only $500,000 has been set aside to restore it. Given what we know now about how reservoirs work, I think we can all agree this is not adequate replenishment. It's been nearly 2 years since this city council declared a housing crisis. That crisis has not gone away. It's gotten worse, but this budget proposal does not reflect the urgency or severity of what so many families are living through. Instead, I see a budget that prioritizes developers over residents and a diluted version of equity used to justify raising salaries for city staff already making over $150,000 annually, while programs meant to protect our most vulnerable neighbors go underfunded. I'd like to refresh you on some real-life statistics that impact your constituents. 57% of Richmond residents are renters. 1 in 4 of us already use half or more of our income just
30
to stay
seconds.
housed. And that's before considering utilities, food, transportation, healthcare, and childcare costs that are growing. Richmond still has the second highest eviction rate in the nation. But these aren't statistics. They're a warning sign that our neighbors are in distress. I'm not disappointed by what I see in this budget, but I am scared. I'm scared for myself. I'm scared for my neighbors. And I know I'm not alone in that. Please protect your constituents who make this city run. Do not wait until more of us are pushed out or put.
Thank you. That is your time.
Thank you, Ms. Miller.
Hello, Council. My name is Erin Trimmer, and I'm here to express my support for Councilmember Gibson's budget amendment to add 2 new full-time positions to the Code Enforcement Department. Adding these positions will ensure that the residential rental inspection program, once an ordinance is passed, that program can be implemented smoothly and effectively this fiscal year. We really appreciate your continued support and assistance for the most vulnerable populations in our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Trimmer.
Good evening, Council. My name is Queen Bailey. I am the Chief of Staff of UBU 100. Our program is housed at Martin Luther King Jr. Middle School. I'm a former teacher, administrator, as well as a hearing officer for Henrico County Public Schools. When I was a hearing officer for Henrico County Public Schools, my job was to sit in front of students, listen to what they did, put them in an alternative program, and then bring them back after their time in the alternative program. My thought was, where's the preventative measures? What are we doing for preventing our young people from having to go in front of a hearing officer like myself? Myself and my husband started our program, UBU 100. We have 35 years of educational as well as administrative experience. First, I would like to thank you for providing financial support for our program for the last 2 years. Second, our program is preventative. We work with the students on time and anger management and college and career readiness. Some of our students are not ready to learn when they come to school. So our goal is readiness. We work with them, we meet with them on a regular basis, we engage with them as well as their parents in order to ensure that they are ready to come into class to learn from our amazing educators. I have a packet for each of you. In the packet, there are letters of support from the principal at Martin Luther King Jr. Middle School,
30 seconds.
school counselors, and teachers. Many of our students don't know a school without UBU. So I have parents and I have students here to talk about the impact that our program has made and will continue to make on our students at Martin Luther King Jr. Middle School.
Thank you, Ms. Bailey.
Good evening, Councilman. My name is Tanya Jackson. I have a
Ma'am, can you pull the mic down, please?
Good evening. My name is Tanya Jackson. I have a nonprofit organization called Kids at Work. I'm here to talk about the impact that UBU 100 at Martin Luther King School. UBU, if it weren't for UBU being in Martin Luther King School, I don't know what these kids would be doing, because before they got there, Martin Luther King was off the chain. I'm going to say off the chain. But since they stepped in that building, the impact that these UBU 100 have put on these kids, they exposed them to a lot of stuff that these kids have never been exposed to. So I'm asking y'all, please, please keep funding going for these programs for these kids. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the council. My name is Sarita Harris, and I'm speaking to you all on the behalf of my daughter, Alani Boyd, who started in the UBU program in the 6th grade and still remains. Alani is one of the first members of the Amazing 12, in the first set of the captains and members in history who started the UBU program at MLK 3 years ago. Being in the UBU program has taught her to manage time And also it has exposed her to traveling beyond the 6th district and volunteering outside of her normal reach in the community. The UBU program also have exposed her to meeting a lot of people, like, for instance, Lieutenant Governor Earl Shear, or Miss Ellen Robinson, just to name a couple. As a single mother, I have watched my child blossom through this program instead of turning to the streets. Alani is the definition of learning to live amongst negativity, not in it. And in conclusion, we want you to continue to invest your resources in this badly needed program for our urban city kids in the Richmond city. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harris.
Good evening. My name is Priscilla Peebles, and I'm a contractor worker that works through the city contractor. My co-workers and I are coming together to organize the 32BJ SEIU so that we can come to the table, bargain table with our employers. I came here before last week and asked you to amend the budget for the workers of the contractors. And that we be protected with the $20 fee for hourly pay. You have $20. If you take a city worker that makes $20 and a contractor worker that makes $15, 1 hour of their pay, and we go into the store. One can get eggs, bacon, bread, and maybe some juice. I can only get eggs, bread, and I don't know about the bacon because the bacon that I have to get is for diabetics. So that $20 means a lot to a lot of people. And I want to thank you guys for listening to me. I want to thank you guys for allowing me to come down to talk with you guys. And I appreciate all the help and aid that you give us. And I really do. And I love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Peoples.
How you doing? My name is Jalil Sidnor, and I am part of the top 12, the Amazing 12 in UBU 100. They have a set definition, but I think it will mean more if I tell you what it means to me. UBU teaches me how not to be in negativity and live with it. There's a difference. When you live into something, you're giving feedback to things that does not better you in life. When you live with it, you know how to ignore it, and keep it out your circle. And what's in my circle? What's in my circle is what I have planned for the future, my family, my friends. Everything else must not matter because it's only a distraction. UBU taught me not how UBU has taught me how to take advantages of opportunities that present itself. Where we from at Martin Luther King, they say we don't know much, or they call us names and think we don't hear about it, but we hear. And UBU teaches us how to look at the world from a different lens, not the small one where we can only see the percent that everyone wants us to see. It's more so just teaching us how to look at everything and speak with maturity and knowledge and how to communicate with others, because one thing Coach Bailey told me, I will never forget. One thing Coach Bailey told me, and I will never forget, is that when I go and speak in front of people and tell them about the program, he would never ever tell me what to say, because when you really mean something and you really want to say something, it would come from the heart, not from a piece of paper or what somebody had told you to say before you come up here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sidnor.
Good evening. My name is Kamar King.
Do you mind
Could you
pull
pull
the
the
mic
mic down a little
just a little
bit?
bit? Thank
Yeah.
you.
And would you say your name again?
Good evening. My name is Kamar King at MLK. I'm a sixth grade at UBU. I'm a captain at UBU. UBU is a global mindset thought process, and UBU they change people
You're doing a great job. Come on.
Yeah, they change people's lives around. Like my friend, he was a bad person. Then when I told him about UBU, it changed his whole life around. And thank you.
Thank you. Great job.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Higgs, and I am a top 12. I am top 12 in UVU. I'm a captain in 7th grade. And I've just came up here to talk about how UVU has just not impacted me, but impacted my family and the community around me. Like one of my former friends that just came up here before, I felt like without UBU, I wouldn't be who I am today. They had taught me a whole lot of things in life and just filling in the gaps in my brain about how more stuff I know about time managing and how to manage your time. And I just really thank them a lot because without them, I wouldn't be who I am today. And they just, you feel me? They just.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Higgs. Great job.
Mike. How y'all doing? My name is DeMarcus King. I'm the 7th grade captain for UBU. The top 12. UBU is like a family to me. I can go to them anytime I need something. It really impacted me. My brother, you see him. He was just crying up here. Um, yeah, that's all I gotta say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great job.
Hello, my name is Sincere Cheatham, and I'm one of the captains for UBU. At UBU, they teach us a lot of things: how to like socialize with other people, how to get along with other people, how to stop doing like stuff that could get you in trouble, help you make your life better, turn around, don't do bad stuff that you're not supposed to be doing. So that's what they teach us, and they also let us go to different places to show us like what things we could do. And yeah, that's what they teach us.
Thank you. Great job. We are not supposed to be providing applause, but I'd like you to applaud those young people who were just here bringing their voice to this issue. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Aisha King. I'm DeMarcus and Kamar King, who just spoke about the program. It helps them a lot. It brings Kamar out his share, and I'm surprised he really got up here to speak because it really brings him out of his share. He wouldn't even talk um, before the program, but the program had helped a lot of students to come out there, share, show them their independence. They can be independent without friends that's not on their level as far as behavior problems or get them to where they're at in the program. So I would like for y'all to keep the program for the kids.
Thank you, Ms. King.
Hello, my name is Bria Taylor, and I'm the mother of Michael Higgs. And before he got to the middle school, I was like terrified for him to go to Martin Luther King because I knew all I heard was bad things about it. But when he started going there and he started being in the program, the UBU program, I see like he did such a turnaround with the positivity that he started exuberating and stuff. And he has a little brother and a little sister that follows behind him. They just look at him like a idol anyway. So they gonna be following behind him being in the program too. So I do hope that you all keep the funding for them because they really need it because he live around nothing but negativity and violence and he don't even want to be a part of none of that. All he does is be in the house with his little brother and sister all the time and just be that's all he do. For him to be a 13-year-old boy, he don't even like going outside or nothing that has to do with family. He just family oriented, and that's all because of this UBU program. And me being a single mother, I can't provide him with none of the experience that he been getting since he been in this program. They've been to plenty of places, and he has experienced a lot of things that I haven't even experienced yet. So I just pray and I ask you all, can you please keep the funding for the UBU program? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor.
Hey, how y'all doing? Get this. Y'all can hear me?
How y'all doing? My name is Marcus Cheatham. I'm Sincere's father. Basically, I'm here to let y'all know how UBU helped my son. You know, my son didn't really have that many friends. You know, when I was growing up, I was in programs just like this. So just to see him around people that can actually show him ways that if I'm not there, let's say I'm at work, and then it's not a man to actually step in and take charge and show him some things. They do that. There's a lot of kids that's at these schools that don't have fathers. Y'all know this, right? Right? There's a lot of kids at these schools that wish every time they get jealous when they see me because I see my kid. Y'all know this, right? These people stop that. They can handle that. When a kid when a kid has a problem, don't know what to talk to, or eventually what do? He get mad, right? He want to lash out. These people stop that. They grow up. They understand things. They learn. Then they understand what they're learning from these people. Do y'all hear that? These people. Y'all okay? Y'all can hear me?
Please continue.
These men help these kids. You feel me? I hope y'all really do understand this. And I just hope y'all would actually,
30 seconds.
give them more, or at least, open up something for them to make them expand their imagination and actually take them to some places, more places than what they have actually took them. I hope y'all heard me and understand me. But y'all have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cheatham.
How y'all doing? My name Ronald Jackson. I'm Miss Jackson's son. I was a member of UBU 100, still is a member, a high school student member. I just wanted to say UBU helped me a lot. Like when I was at my lowest, when I lost my father, they was kind of there for me, and they kind of they taught me how to realize my triggers and realize that every action not worth the reaction, and how to be positive, and made me want to be a young man and help other young kids in the community. So I just want y'all to keep funding the little ones because they really need it, and it's gonna help them in the long run because they helped me. So that's all. I just hope y'all stay blessed and enjoy the rest of y'all day.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
My name is Coach Michael Bailey. I'm going to let Kaylee go first. Kaylee is a member of the Amazing 12 you have heard about already.
Kaylee, UBU taught me a lot of things, and not to be around the wrong people and stop being negative and let everybody in your circle be positive and just stay 100.
Thank you, Kelly.
Good afternoon, Madam President and the members of City Council. My name is Michael Bailey. I'm former athletic director, head football coach at Virginia Union, fifth grade teacher with Richmond Public Schools. I was teacher of the year at Southampton Model School in the late 90s. In 1995, I go to Virginia Union and help their football program go from 1-9 to where they are today, their national powerhouse, along with my uncle Willard Bailey. Today, I'm here to say thank you to the city of Richmond. You guys have supported UBU 100 for the last 2 years. It's an investment that has paid off. These kids are really shy, but they're great kids, and they know they can win. Imagine an NCAA institution adopting a middle school on a sixth grade hallway and coaching 100 kids in the building. That's what we do. It's a life skills coaching program that we taught at the collegiate level. When freshmen come to an NCAA institution, they need to take an orientation class that helps us with basic life skills on a college campus. That same program is at Martin Luther King Middle School. We can't wait to see the rising fifth graders when schools start. For the last 3 years, we've been in that building, and I have completely, with the principal and parents, not by myself, with a team, have changed the culture and the climate to a very successful educational institution. What the stories were prior to me getting there, I don't know. But I want to say thank you for your support. I will say this. We're looking forward to this current year. The Amazing 12 was the first kids that came in our program, and we're going to make sure that they have college and career readiness techniques that will catapult this community into a level that we'll all be proud of. We really take education seriously, but our whole entire approach is to combine the homes.
Thank you. That is your time.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Okay, thank you for that applause, but we are withholding unless it's one of our members of UBU. Okay. Yeah, our children members, so thank you.
Good evening, Madam President, members of council. My name is Charles Todd, and I am proud to serve as the city's Director of Information Technology. You're going to hear my voice tremble tonight. I'm nervous. I'm never nervous. I'm scared that my words will be seen as being self-promoting, but they're not. I promise you I rise to speak for the 29 people who work for me, for you, in the Department of Information Technology who do not hold union positions. You know, IT jobs are high-paying jobs. That's how it is. When I first came to the city 12 years ago, we were completely not competitive at all levels. Through lots of hard work, funds you've allocated, work in the administration, we've become competitive at the entry level and the intermediate level, but not so much for senior or in leadership positions. We need strong leaders in the city. We need senior people in senior positions. We need to show them that they are valued and supported. I consider 3.25% to be basically a cost of living increase with inflation running in the 2% range. It's keeping up with inflation. And inflation doesn't skip over people in leadership positions. It's one thing for me, and I certainly have in my 33-year career had to explain to people that they don't get a cost of living
30
increase
seconds.
because they had some type of raise, and I can get that. But explaining to someone they don't get a raise, an increase purely because of what they make is a very hard message to give. It could say we don't respect them, we don't value them, and that's not the message we should give. When leadership is respected and motivated, our whole organization rises. I urge you to reconsider.
Thank you. That is your time.
Thank you, Mr. Todd.
Good evening, members of council, council president, Shonda Giles, interim DCAO, at least until Monday, of Human Services. And then we have a new DCAO coming on board and Director of Social Services. I have stood at this dais and advocated for my staff to receive increases back when they were making the equivalent salaries of Petersburg. They have stayed, and my leadership stayed. And we have 20+ year employees who started as workers in these positions. And so I would be remiss not to come and advocate for them when we did market increases for direct line staff and they didn't get it. They didn't ask. They just advocated and came and stood alongside to make sure that those in the field are getting those pay raises. And so I echo what Mr. Charles Todd said about cost of living increases. The other component of that, Richmond is the second largest Department of Social Services in the Commonwealth of Virginia, second only to Fairfax. We serve 166,000 benefits clients in the city of Richmond. Every day is hard. Every day they come and give 100%. So I would be remiss not to come and advocate for the strong leaders that you have in this organization. You know, I took this role in 2015, May 4th.
30 seconds.
And I said a director should lift out. We have the caliber of leadership that can continue to lead this organization, and we've been really intentional in investing in it. The other component that I will say is because our salaries are reimbursed by the state, there would need to be a corresponding 84.5% reduction in your revenues if that increase does not go to DSS staff who are eligible for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Giles.
Stephen Willoughby. I'm a resident of the 3rd District and have the privilege of serving as the city's Director of Emergency Communications Preparedness and Response. Our city employees need to know that their employer supports them and will not face uncertainty every year that positions are threatened or cut, or question the modest raises that may or may not occur. Cutting positions may not fully fund and not cutting positions and not fully funding raises for all employees erodes the trust and the commitment that city leaders, including city council, have made to our workforce. It will take us back years. Our employees deserve better. They deserve commitment. And failing to provide them the modest raises, threatening cuts, employees will leave, and they have in the past, for other localities that they feel are more reliable and support them as an employee. And it makes it a lot more difficult to fill critical positions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Willoughby.
Good evening. I'm Gail Johnson, the Director of General Services. It's not my place to say who can afford to live based on the salary they make, whether it be the $20 an hour, whether it be the $150,000 a year. But I will say, as the director of a new department, my goal is to bring that team together as one. All for one, one for all. We work side by side. So to not give raises across the board kind of negates my push that we're all in this together. It creates separation and it creates a sense of not being appreciated as one. So I urge you all to look at that proposal again to say, hey, we're all in this together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
Ms. Johnson, I believe we need those. We need those copies back. Thank you. Thank you.
Council members, Scott Morris, I'm the director of DPU. I started back in January, and I don't have as much perspective as some of my other colleagues from a director perspective on existing culture. But I can tell you from a compliance perspective, I have concerns with inconsistent application of the pay raises. I came in a time period of challenge, and my sole job and function is to make sure that DPU was a utility of excellence and to make sure that we stayed in full compliance. And I have general concerns that if there's inconsistent application of these pay raises, the ability for DPU to attract and retain highly qualified, highly competent individuals to run the utility and to make sure that we stay in compliance will be threatened. So I just wanted to raise that concern and voice that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morris.
Good evening. My name is Doug Granat, and I serve as Deputy Director of Information Technology, enthusiastically, I might add. I'd like to advocate for the proposed salary increase for leadership roles here in the city. This recommendation is not just about compensation, it's an investment in the effective and visionary leadership that ensures our city's continued growth, safety, and prosperity. Leadership roles in our city demand a unique blend of expertise, dedication, and resilience. These individuals oversee critical services that directly impact the lives of every citizen. From ensuring the smooth operation of utilities to managing public safety infrastructure, they bear enormous responsibilities and are often required to make decisions that involve considerable complexity and scrutiny at any day, at any hour, and under any circumstance. Additionally, this adjustment reflects the value we place on leadership roles as drivers of innovation and efficiency. Whether improving technology for essential services or responding to community needs during an emergency, our leaders continuously go above and beyond. It's only right that we continue to provide them with equitable compensation that aligns with their responsibilities. A modest salary adjustment is both reasonable and essential to remain in alignment with the demands of these positions, as well as remain competitive with both public and private sector. This increase acknowledges the rising cost of living while affirming our commitment to attracting and retaining top-tier talent. Without competitive compensation, we risk losing skilled leaders to neighboring cities or private sector opportunities, leading to disruptions in services that our residents rely on every day. I urge you to consider the long-term benefits this decision brings, not just for leadership team, but for every citizen who depends on their abilities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tina Monroe, and I
am the proud grandmother of a student that attends John Marshall High School. And for those who aren't aware, John Marshall is the pride of the North Side. Now let's get to business. As I was stating, I'm here to ask, please don't take funds from Richmond Public Schools. Richmond Public Schools have offered my grandson and I resources beyond imaginable. The programs that they offer in the school system. In addition to that, my heart goes to the teachers because so many teachers have to wear different hats. First of all, they are a doctor, a nurse, a psychiatrist, a therapist, a mother and a father, and the list goes on and on and on. Now, Richmond Public School has been there with my grandson and I, who have experienced trauma. And as a grandmother, I refuse to allow my grandson to get caught up in the streets of Richmond. Richmond Public School has stood beside my grandson and I, the left side, the right side, in front of us and behind us. And as I leave today, I want to leave a food of thought for each of you. If you had not received an education, would you be in the position that you're in today? Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Ms. Monroe.
Hello, my name is John Henry Williams. I'm from the 6th District up on Dill Avenue, and I'm also an organizer with the Sunrise Movement. I'm deeply concerned about the climate crisis, fossil fuel pollution, and the state of housing in Richmond. I'm here to speak in opposition to the new business stipend that the gas utility has, and in support of Councilwoman Gibson's amendments to support affordable housing. These concerns are not unique. City Council declared a state of emergency for the climate in 2021, and then a state of emergency for housing in 2023. However, despite these declarations, the proposed budget continues and seeks new business for the gas utility, and it doesn't fund the affordable housing that it needs to. This goes against multiple commitments, including the commitment of RVA Green 2050. In January, these two things came together for me. I was living in a house where our infrastructure, which has clearly not been invested in, lost water. And then when we got the water back, the heat went out. I would like to invest in inspectors that could have come to that property the first time we asked them to make sure that the radiators were okay, instead of having to sit in the cold of my house after taking a week without having a shower. The climate crisis and the housing crisis are deeply linked, and they will continue to be. And so I ask that you all start to fund RVA Green 2050 and the climate equity commitments that you've made. I also want to support Councilwoman Abubakar's amendments to fund the circular economy program and a full position in the Office of Sustainability. I hope after this budget cycle, we can talk more about the jobs program that this city promised to put our climate resilient city back together.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Hi, Council. My name is Michael Sparks. I'm the director of the Underground Kitchen Community First, a nonprofit in town that supports family and children with great food. I'm asking you to really consider this budget and consider families eating and being able to take care of themselves. We've actually put together a program that we're actually measuring the outcomes of families and kids who are coming into school hungry, going to go through this summer being hungry. And I'm going to need your support to support our program working out of the Annie Jow Centers. And we support every one of you and every one of your districts. So it's just not the 6th district, but it's every one of you. Really reconsider and look at our proposal and look how many families we affect. We feed 40,000 plus meals a month out of our kitchen. And I ask for your support this coming year.
Thank you, Mr. Sparks.
Good afternoon. My name is Sybil Elamine Jones. I'm the Deputy Chief of Operations for the Police Department. I'm here to talk about the raises. 5 years ago, I was the least paid senior command staff member as a major in the police department. While there were other people that were senior to me, I was still the least paid member of senior command staff. That's not the case today, but the reason for that is because of compression. Compression causes our pay specifically when we do not keep up with the people behind us. It causes our pay to lag. To suggest that myself, the other members of command staff that truly don't have any days off. There's no time that I'm not responsible for taking a phone call. There's no time where I'm not responsible for coming in if something involves an officer-involved shooting. There's no time in the 365 days that myself and the rest of the command staff come in where we do not answer to our tyrant, the chief, but more importantly, to you, to the citizens of Richmond. So I would just ask you to keep the consistency so we don't go back to where we were 5 years ago and we remain competitive with the other agencies around us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Elamine Jones. Are there any other persons present desirous of speaking during this public hearing? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Bring it back to council for any comments and/or discussion at this time. Councilmember Robertson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to thank everyone for coming down this evening. This was a very short notice for a public hearing on the budget. As you can see, we have lots of challenges before us. But I especially want to acknowledge all of the concerns that have been raised, the concerns that have been raised by Mr. Jarrett as it relates to your office and the significance of what you do in bringing over $7 million back to the city is important for us to be aware of. Certainly, people living in decent housing, decent affordable housing, and landlords not getting off the hook with not providing it. I certainly want to acknowledge I am going to support all of our city employees getting 3.25 raise. There's no question in my mind about that. And I certainly recognize the significance of the Family Crisis Fund, and more specifically as it relates to peoples of poverty in the city of Richmond. Richmond made a commitment over 10 years ago that our departments that service families of poverty, and certainly our social service department and so forth, you guys and the clientele that you take care of every day. But my heart is heavy for lots of reasons as it relates to all of you and what you've had to share today. But I especially want to thank the children that came down. Those kids spoke from their heart. They didn't have cards. Nobody wrote what they were going to say. They told us exactly what they're experiencing. And the person that said MLK was off of the hook, off of the chain or something to that effect. And what it is today, if you've not been there, go, just go. Ask Coach and Bailey to give you an opportunity to come and experience it. You cannot imagine, there's no way that as many of those children and their parents that could come down here tonight and speak from their heart, nobody writing notes for them to say, if their lives weren't being transformed. And they're being transformed in a marvelous way. The academic achievement of this school is beyond any short period of time is what we're experiencing. And I know the question has been raised by some of my colleagues that, there are all responses to the request for funding as to whether or not they made application through the special department. They did not, because they have a contract with the city that had promised and guaranteed them continued contract. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank you, Coach. I see you still out there, and I hope Queen is around and the rest of the parents and all. Thank you. Thank you. Because what you're doing is a story that needs to be told in Richmond, all around Richmond, and even beyond. Because where some people do not think, schools that have 90+% children of poverty, that live majority in our public housing communities that we created, segregated, low income, extremely low income poverty neighborhoods that face challenges beyond your imagination. Those little kids tonight have listened and they've learned. And they've proven to us, if you are willing to love us and invest in us, we can be the change agent for poverty and reducing poverty and celebrating the creative talents that are locked in shells that you be you 100. That's what they teach. You be yourself 100%. You saw them tonight. And so I'm grateful that they've had that window of opportunity. And for all of the other employees of the city, I know, you work long hours. You work more than 40 hours, almost all of you. You're not compensated. Even if you're paid what you should be paid, you're not compensated for the hours that you put in. I want to thank each one of you. And I don't want one of you to walk away from here thinking that you're not valued, that you're not important. And the only reason why this city is what it is because of you. And I feel a moral and a privileged obligation to do the best that I can to show you the value that you are. Again, thank you very much for coming down.
Thank you, Councilmember Robertson. I just want to, just similar to Councilmember Robertson, thank everyone who came down this evening to voice your concerns, your support, and or opposition to any of the items on the proposed budget and amendments. I especially want to thank the parents of UBU students, and I don't call them our students, but our future leaders who came down and brought voice. And I see one in the back there. Is that Kayla? I'm not sure. Two. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I was looking. Okay. I see two there. I just want to say thank you. I see you as our future leaders and really appreciate hearing from you this evening and the value of this program to you, your lives. So thank you. Thank you so much. I similarly want to say to our employees who don't work from 9 to 5, but until the job is done. As I see you out there, I see you working. I've called on weekends, and many of us have in other times. And so the compensation that's on for consideration is something that I think is consistent with our actions to have a $20 minimum wage, to have collective bargaining, and to have the opportunity for competitiveness, reduction of compression. You've heard some of our staffers talk about individuals who make less than them and they are in higher positions. And so I want to say thank you to you all. And I know I'm not the only one calling you on weekends and late evenings, and you callback. You answer, you're responsive and working to assist us in addressing the needs of our children, youth, families, and communities. Chief as well, same thing. So want to say thank you to all of you. We have a ways to go with the budget. We're not there yet, but we certainly will consider the concerns and recommendations that have been brought to bear. RPS, thank you. Our children are valuable to us all. And the folks who work with them, whether they're administrative teachers, bus driver, are critical from my perspective, our perspective. So thank you for coming in. The other entities who've come to advocate on and bring voice to concerns. Can't see everybody over there, but to bring voice to the concerns that you have. I won't go down the list, but I want to say thank you to all of you. We hear you. We prioritize the challenges and concerns. It's how we manage to meet all of those needs, and we're working diligently to that end. We're attempting at least. So thank you. Ms. Gibson, Council Member Gibson.
Thank you, Madam President. And thank you folks for coming out. You know, change is really hard. And we know this. This is a city that has been plagued with the same issues for a very long time. And I am not naive to think that change comes overnight. I get that. My ask to folks that are advocating this evening, whether you are an administrator wanting to ensure that you and your leadership receive a 3% raise, or if you're here on behalf of residents who are still making $15 an hour, or wanting to ensure that their homes are safe, anyone that that you advocate and support the effort to improve how this process works. There's not enough time to do the work of truly analyzing $1 billion budget and thoughtfully, straight up. And you know, I said this last time. You know, we had 13 days to review this 600-page document, ask questions, and make recommendations. And the assignment that council members were given was that for every ad we suggested, we also recommend a cut. This isn't easy to do, but I did that. Other of my colleagues did that. We made suggestions for recommended cuts. This is not easy. No one wants to do this, but we did. And I think we got somewhere in the scheme of, say, $8 to $10 million. It's hard to tell. There's many spreadsheets. They don't all make sense. But we came up with, say, $10 million worth of cuts. And essentially would say 90% of every single suggestion that we made, we were told no. No. And that's not what transformation looks like. Transformation doesn't look like a transformation manager who altogether salary and benefits is $115,000. That's a line item. Someone recommended that we cut that. We were told no. The city told us, the administration said there was a hiring freeze in January. We know about all of these vacant positions. We've made recommendations to cut some of these positions, some of which have been vacant for years. We were told no. It is not obviously my interest to not give anyone a 3% raise. But I will tell you that in the context of you all come to an office and work every day, and we're making this suggestion for the folks that work in the city that make more than anybody else. You know, I mean, we have a growing number of leadership folks that are making over $200,000 a year. Yes, love to give you a 3% raise, but the person who comes and picks up the trash in your office makes $15 an hour. So when we're talking about equity, I can't hear the word merit, because I'll be damned if everyone deserves to be making more than $15 an hour. Everyone deserves to be living in an environment where they're not worried that their roof is going to cave in. So we have to make difficult choices. But in order for us to get there, we have to design a system that will work. And I don't know, you know, I can't tell why it is that this process has been so difficult. But it seems like a no-brainer that we would begin this process no later than March 1st. I've submitted a text amendment for this. I've been told, and again, I don't know how the consensus works, because I'm still figuring it out, but I've been told that there's not consensus for it. If folks do not approve giving our own selves more time to do this work, I don't understand what we're doing here. The democracy requires time. It requires a commitment to listening, to doing the research, to getting the information. Policy is not quick. And in order for this body to serve what I believe we were elected to do, which was to transform the city, not through a $115,000 salary, but through true roll up your sleeves and let's work. Let's figure out what it is that we need to do to make the culture of this building change. We need more time. So I will continue to fight for those changes. I think that it's possible to get there. And my hope is that the votes will be there to do just that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Trammell.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to say this. I've been doing this almost 24 years. This building has definitely changed. Believe me, it has changed since 1998. And y'all know what I'm talking about. This right here, I just sent this to SEIU from the administration, where they're asking for, thank you, Sabrina. Thank you. This is something that's going to be great if we can get it passed. For the ones that work in, oh my goodness, security.
And janitorial.
Ma'am.
And janitorial service. That's the second one, is two.
Yeah. And that's what I said, you know, we are making changes. We're making good changes. And yeah, I want to thank Tina Monroe for coming down here, all the students that spoke tonight. And you know what? There was a lady that spoke about, we wouldn't be sitting up here if we were not educated, if we had not had education. She's right. And our children, I always say, are our future. And those children in the schools, those teachers, they are parents, they're fathers, they're mothers, they're nurses, they're everything to those children when they come in there in the morning. And Tina, you spoke you spoke from your heart, and you could just feel what you were talking about with your grandchild. And I thank you for that. Also, we know that for you to have a position to move up the ladder per se, you got to have education, got to have skill, you got to have, like the guy from, like Todd said, technology. That doesn't come easy for me when it comes to a computer. Little phone like this, okay, but when it's got a computer like that, I get scared. I get nervous with it. And Todd, you know what I'm talking about. So I want to say that 3.5% raise, yeah, they need it. We need to keep these people here. We need to keep our police officers, our firefighters, our, our city employees. You know, they look up to us for guidance. They look up to us to help them, to give them. From the person that's on the back of that trash truck to the person that is here cleaning our offices, cleaning City Hall, they mean everything to me, because if we didn't have them here, how would our offices look? How would City Hall look? So to me, I say 3.5% raise. Many of them deserve more than that because they work. And somebody making them, and I'm tired of hearing about 300,000, 200,000. They work 7 days a week for the whole city for 5,000 employees. We don't answer to 5,000 employees. Yeah, we're supposed to answer to 27,000 citizens. And if we didn't have you all that help us, can you imagine how difficult our job would be? I mean, as my colleague Ellen said earlier, we're campaigning. We're the ones that get fussed at the polls. Oh, you didn't get my street paved. Oh, you forgot my community center. Oh, you forgot to pick up my trash. Or you forgot that. That's what we hear. That's what we hear 7 days a week. Our phones don't stop ringing after 5 o'clock. And the police chief can tell you my phone will ring up until 1 o'clock in the morning. Because he knows I want those officers to call me when I have something happen in my district. Firefighters, all of that. Mr. Willis, you know what I'm talking about. So please, let's not sit here and try to say that our employees are here just to get some money. They work. And they deserve every penny of it, especially the men and women in our police department that are out there 24/7, 365 days a year, 7 days a week, and our security officers. Let's thank them for all that they do too. They help us be safe. Because I will tell you right now, Chesterfield and Henrico's dying to take some of our employees. I'll tell you that right now, because we got good, qualified, skilled employees right here in this city working for us 9 council members. And that is the God's honest truth. Everybody from Recreation Parks, Chris, we thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you did for us Saturday. You and Bobby Vincent worked together. And you know what? That's another thing we don't think about. They work together. I don't see them fighting and arguing or saying, hey, that's not my job, that's your job. No. So again, from the bottom of my heart, I thank all of you for what you do and for what you give back to us to make our jobs easier and to make us look good with our citizens in our district. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Tramble. Vice President Jordan.
I'll say my comments for next public hearing. Thanks.
Yes. With that, as I said, public hearings closed, bring back to the body for any further discussion and comment based on where we left off in the earlier session and discussing a path forward is what I'd like to talk about. We have, coming out of that meeting, several items that the administration is going to get information back to us on. I'm sorry. Thank you for waving. I was leaning back here a little bit. Back's a little tight. Thank you. We have several items that the administration will be working to get information back to us on, including list of positions to be considered relative to cuts, additional items in terms of their, and staff has those. I won't go through all that list. We'll make sure that you have that. And we're looking to get that back. Members, I would like to ask either this evening we can continue to work, or we can look at ideally Wednesday before 2 as an opportunity. Any takers there? You're finished for tonight. Okay. I understand. Then I would, Ms. Lynch, did you have a proposal? I have another proposal, just saying, but I was trying to vet a couple before.
Well, before we put additional meetings on the calendar,
can you tell us what we're going to be
Sure.
doing at these meetings?
Sure. The information that was requested from the administration in our earlier meeting that they committed to getting back to us, we will have that information, can make informed decisions about any additional proposed enhancements and or reductions. That's what we're looking at. Okay.
But
And then,
weren't we discussing, we've been here since 1 p.m. Are we expecting them to come back with additional cuts or reductions?
we asked for a variety of things to be looked at. The staff prepared a list of items in terms of positions and wanted to have those vetted and reviewed. We had the crosswalk that was done for PB that we want to get information back on to see where those are. We had another item, as Councilmember Gibson asked, in terms of clarification on revenue. We had a variety of things. There are a list of items that members wanted information on. Okay. And so I want to make sure we get that and have an opportunity for review and then for consideration in terms of our budget requests and consideration and then finalization. Okay. So if I hear correctly, this evening's not a possibility. I know we've been here a long time already. And then Wednesday sounds like it may not be an option. I do have another proposal that we would look at a work session on Monday, as we will be here for council. Right? That we would utilize that time to get the information back. We would have it this week. We would have opportunity to look at it and have that work session and finalization on Monday. Then we would be looking at my proposal, a introduction of papers at OD. We'd have a special meeting at OD on the 5th, and then we would be voting on the 12th. Which would allow us opportunity prior to the 15th to make a decision relative to schools, is what I'd like to put on the table.
Madam President, could I just ask a question from our city attorney's office?
Oh, yeah.
Just triple check on that.
Yes.
And I still have some fuel in the tank to try and knock out at least some of these categories this evening.
I understand, but I didn't have a lot of other takers, so yeah, I will as well. But City Attorney Drury, I checked in with her. I checked with our city clerk. I didn't want to bring you something that could not have legs. Seeing no huge opposition to that, I'd like to proceed for that on Monday. We'll get the information as soon as we get it from the administration. Gives us another day or so to work through and see if there are any other opportunities so that we can make final decision on Monday. And we'll carve out that work time with that intro for a special meeting at OD of the papers, and again, voting on our first meeting on the 12th. With that, Councilman Britton.
I guess I was going to ask if the next time that we're all speaking in public together is a week from now, then are we able to continue to send questions to the administration to get feedback and specifics about things they've said, claims they've made, spreadsheets that they've sent over?
Okay, so they have the list of items that we said we'd like to get feedback on today. Do you have something specific right now that we can convey, or you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was going to ask a couple questions about some of the like reclassifications and raises to sort of like just ask for some other versions of that question so we could possibly hash out other alternative versions of that proposal.
Okay.
But if I could do it in an email if they don't want to do it in person.
So if you would, we have staff members who can get that tomorrow or preferably this evening. to the administration so that that could go into the queue to get responses back. Absolutely, let's do it that way. Okay. Seeing no major opposition there. Again,
And we still have a closed session?
today?
Oh, that's not.
No, no, ma'am. We use that for work session. But we will have in the near future, but no, we do not.
'Cause that's,
We did. I announced that we would not be.
oh, okay.
Yes, thank you. So, okay, so with that, everybody has at least how the path forward at this point. The 28th, we'll have a work session. At OD meeting, we'll have a special meeting of council to introduce the budget papers, and we will vote on them on the 12th. Okay, seeing no other questions, comments, need for clarification. Again, thank you to everyone who came down this evening to speak. We heard you. Those issues that you've shared, they are priorities and concerns for us. So thank you. With that, this meeting of the Richmond City Council public hearing, special public hearing, stands adjourned. Thank you.